72 hours on the edge. The Mount Rainier Survivor. In March 2024, 29-year-old climber Daniel Reyes set out to climb Mount Rainier in Washington state. He had trained for months, studying the routes, preparing his gear, and dreaming of standing on the summit. The forecast promised clear skies. As the sun rose over the snow-covered slopes, Daniel's boots crunched into fresh powder, and every breath filled his lungs with crisp mountain air. He believed this would be the greatest climb of his life. He didn't know it would turn into a fight for survival. By midday, clouds rolled in, slow at first, then faster. The wind shifted. Daniel looked up and saw the summit vanish behind a wall of white. Within minutes, visibility dropped to almost zero. The air howled, snow stung his face like shards of glass. His GPS tracker froze, his compass spun wildly. He was alone in a whiteout. Daniel pressed on, trying to find shelter. Then, his right foot punched through the crust. The ground gave way. He slid down a hidden ice slope, his hands clawing for grip. After 20 terrifying seconds, he slammed into a ledge, his ankle twisting under him. Pain shot through his leg, sharp, deep, and unrelenting. He could no longer walk normally. The temperature plummeted as night fell. Daniel dug into the snow, building a small hollow to shield himself from the wind. He had no tent, no fire, only an emergency blanket and his will to live. The darkness pressed in, and the mountain's silence felt heavier than the cold. Somewhere in the distance, an avalanche thundered, a reminder of how quickly the mountain could take him. The storm raged through the morning. Daniel tried to ration his energy, melting snow in his mouth to stay hydrated. Every movement burned his remaining strength. He screamed into the wind, hoping someone, anyone, could hear. But the mountain swallowed his voice. On the afternoon of the second day, the sound of rotors cut through the wind. A rescue helicopter. Daniel's heart pounded. He waved frantically, reflecting sunlight with his emergency blanket. But the chopper flew on, either unable to see him through the snow or already searching somewhere else. The silence afterward was worse than before. By the third night, Daniel's lips were cracked, his hands numb. He thought of his family, of his younger sister who had begged him to climb with a group. He whispered her name into the freezing air. His body wanted to give up, but his mind refused. At dawn on the fourth day, Daniel heard voices. He opened his eyes to see two rescue climbers approaching through the snow. They wrapped him in thick thermal blankets, checked his pulse, and radioed the helicopter. Daniel was airlifted off the mountain, his ankle fractured, his body hypothermic, but alive. Daniel spent a week in the hospital. When reporters asked what kept him alive, he said simply, "I told myself I'd see my family again. I wasn't going to let the mountain win." Experts called it a miracle. Daniel called it a promise kept.